I wanted to show you this part. This is where there's a small strait between the Asian and European side of Istanbul. This is on the European side. And there are men all over swimming and enjoying themselves, but only men. We are leaving the port from Eminönü, and we're going to the Prince's Island. From among them, the one called Büyükada. As you can see, it's raining and the weather is turning pretty bad. The waves are increasing. What we are on is a ferry. It's the regular ferry that goes between Istanbul and the islands. And it will take about 1.5 hours to get there, almost 2 actually. And we wanted to go to the Bosphorus, but there was a swimming competition, so we opted for the islands instead. They are called Prince's Islands because the Byzantine and then the Ottoman Empire used to send their unwanted princes to these islands. Nowadays, mostly richer people live there, and they're also a huge tourist attraction. That is Istanbul's Asian side. If I can focus from the seagulls. And this is one of the islands. It's one of the smaller ones. And we've just stopped for taking people on. People are getting off. We're waiting for things to go on. And the weather is turning better, though not perfect yet. But still a bit of rain. Hopefully by the time we get to Büyükada, it will clear up. This is the ferry we came on, and we just arrived, and everyone's getting off at Büyükada. This is the port at Büyükada, and that's the island. So Büyükada is actually means big island in Turkish. It's the biggest island among the Prince's Islands. There are actually 4 big islands and 5 smaller ones. The ferry goes to all 4 bigger ones. The inner streets of Büyükada are more crowded, but everywhere, so this is July, and there are everywhere flowers, big colorful flowers. It's all very beautiful, so if you want to take flower pictures, then this is the place to do it. On the islands, there are no cars, only serviced motorized vehicles. And you can either rent a bike or hire one of these carriages. They go quite fast, so you also have to be careful. And this is where we walked up. The hill is pretty steep, and on a hot day like this, it's not very nice climbing up. You try to keep to the shade, but we still have some ways to go. Up and up and up. On the hill, there are a couple of horses, probably for the carriages. And this is on top of the hill. It used to be an orphanage, but is now pretty much in ruins. Not exactly sure what this building was. At first glance, it looked uninhabited, but could be inhabited now. And also, I spotted some cows among some building. Interesting. And there's a cross, so religious site. While walking down the hill, there are many beautiful houses, some in despair, some not so much, and many nice streets. And be careful with the carriages. We decided to have a light dinner by the sea before going back to Istanbul, and this was the view. It was a Greek restaurant, and it wasn't bad. It was okay. I had fresh orange juice, which was much needed, and some fish skewers, which I actually liked. That's quite a backdrop for a selfie. Waiting for the ferry. There are lots and lots of people, so I expect the ferry to be very crowded. And we're all standing out in the hot sun. Not nice. Not nice at all. And that's leaving Büyükada. It's a very nice little island. Not worth staying more than a day trip unless you really want to just relax. It's more of a relaxing place than Istanbul. And I do love the architecture, though I wish some of the buildings were in better repair. And the ferry was very inexpensive. And though it took a long time to actually arrive, but part of the fun is actually watching the islands as you pass them by, and sunset. We arrive back in Istanbul as the sun is setting and the lights are coming on one by one.